Welcome to coverage of the Rotax Max Challenge Africa Open from the Swartkorps International Karting Raceway. Ideal conditions are here for the weekend, so you cannot ask for better as we kick things off now with the Mini-Max category. 10 karts in action, and qualifying at the top end of the field, the barrel of Jordan Brooks, absolutely dominating ahead of Mohammed Wali and Matthew Morrell.
Josh, we're here at the Africa Open, and today is a different day to a national. Today it's all or nothing.
Yeah, it's especially about race 3. You can mess up race 1, 2 and qualifying, but if you win race 3, you go to Brazil. So
how do you then play for the day? Because race 2 and 3 is actually just another qualifying session.
We're gonna test for those 2 heats. We're trying to sort the kart out because my kart with the new tires is very hoppy. So we're gonna try and sort that out before race 2. And if it's good for race 2, then we know we sorted for race 3.
So today's strategy is I'm gonna try and get second and then next first, hopefully. And qualifying is one of the most important things you can do.
Yeah, but today we're in pre-final 1, pre-final 2. A lot can change. How do you handle that scenario?
Well, you try and defend your position and try and keep the best you can do.
Who are you guys to watch out for?
Mohammed Wali, which is 599, and Jordan Brooks.
I qualified first. I was 0.1 fast only. In the first race, hopefully in the start I can get first, and if I pull a gap, if you try and pull a gap, if I don't pull a gap, then if Mohammed passes, I'll pass him back. And I think the last 2 or first laps, I'll block him.
Love the confidence coming out of him. They're going to block. Well, let's see whether he has to or not as we get into pre-final number 1 now. 10 laps of action coming away, and it's Mohammed Wali alongside Brooks as they come into the lanes and get ready to go. A couple of adjustments there, as you can see. Joining me in commentary will be Carl Lawrence for our bit of action here from Mini-Max. A little bit of a depleted field, but needless to say, there's still going to be action. Look at how they start things down into turn 1. Wow, Wally goes from second to third. Wow, that's Michele Patrizi just flipping his kart completely upside down. Oh, Marshall's getting across to him very quickly. Looks like he's okay.
That gives me some terrible flashbacks.
I can just imagine. Well, the marshals and the medics on call almost instantaneously. You can see Donovan just making sure. Look, he's good to go.
Back in the kart.
He's going to get back in the kart. Have a look at this. There you can see he just clips the back end of one of the drivers, gets onto 2 wheels, rolls over completely. I think I just heard Vivian screaming in my ear though. She's a bit concerned about where he ended up. But he's back up and driving. Can you believe that?
Unbelievable kid.
Wow. So there's definitely no fear in that little man. But what a way to start off this race.
It's definitely like there's a bit of a spread here in the front as Jordan Brooks has gotten away from Matthew Morrell, his stablemate, with Josh LaRue and Mohammed Wali behind him, also both Praga mounted, with Fernandez there just behind them, looking to catch onto the back of the group and hopefully turn this 1 race, 1 kart in front into 5 karts for the lead.
Well, dude, if you take into account the first couple of rounds in the championship itself as opposed to the Africa Open, Mikel Fernandez was the man to beat. So if he's that far back, he's got some work to do now, and it's not going to be easy. We can see how competitive this category is with that little maneuver going into turn 1. Fortunately, as I said, Patrizi is back up and driving. I can't believe that he managed to get that kart flicked over and get back in the kart and get going again. But needless to say, that's what you got to do if you want to secure yourself a seat at the World Finals in Brazil. And that's what we're fighting for here today at the Africa Open.
You'll see a lot of these karts have got the radiator flap closed. They've got a tiny little radiator on the side, and we've all found optimum temperature for these engines to run at. So it's up to the drivers to look at their temperature and control it with that little flap on the radiator. But as I said, that Liam De Beer, after making that contact, now looking to come back into the front group.
Look at the temperature gauge. I don't think these guys look at anything other than the person in front of them and try and close down on them. You keep telling me that they are looking at it. I'll believe you. But I'm looking at the oak in front saying I need to catch you. And that's exactly what Wally is doing right now, as Jordan Brooks is just disappearing. Matthew Morrell controlling second place, but the battle's for third. And it looks like it's about to be changed up as Wally had a look. Wasn't quite close enough. Oh, but how's that? Second option, I'll take it. Thank you very much.
I think Josh just ran a little bit deep there, allowing Mohammed Wali to get past, but it was a great reactionary move from Mohammed Wali into turn 1 there.
So Josh LaRue with the onboard camera there as we go down through, and looks like he's now going to have to fend off the attack coming from behind. Jaden Goosen, you got Mikel Fernandez and Carl Bierkes not too far off the back end of that little pack. And as they come through the 180s, oh, what is happening there? These karts are not made to wheelie, boys. Definitely not.
I think Mikhail just misjudged that there. Thought there was a move that wasn't there. When Mohammed Wali closed the door, he just ramped over the back wheel.
And once again, putting the front two wheels up in the air, almost like we saw with Patrizi. So getting into this stage of the race now, you can see things are changing up. And all of a sudden, it looks like Jordan Brooks is just going to control it to the line. Perfectly done. He's also gone ahead and set the fastest lap, which is exactly what you want to be doing in these pre-finals. Try and set the fastest lap. Try and get as high up on the finishing positions as you can to ensure some good points and make sure that you're up there for the second pre-final coming up in less than half a lap's time. Across the line, it's going to be Jordan Brooks. Matthew Morrell, his teammate out of Burrell Art, is going to be happy with that. They're going to take 1 and 2 for the first victory here in pre-final. And then it's Josh LaRue who managed to just keep out Liam De Beer. A good effort there from the two of them. Then you've got Jaden Goosen. Mohammed Wali unfortunately dropped down to 6th place after making a little mistake, and he beat out Mikael Fernandes. Carl Bierkes in 8th place, and Mandla Manlageni coming through there for 9th place, with Patrizi eventually finishing in the top 10, and a great recovery from the youngster. Watch out for him in pre-final 2. Slowing them down now to get them into those tram lines for pre-final 2 Mini-Max, and look at that, it's a Burrell front row. Are we going to see a little change up? I wonder if Matthew Morrell can give his teammate a run for his money. We saw the fastest lap coming out of Jordan Brooks, and it looks like Jordan Brooks is going to hold things pretty much the same into turn number 1. Yes, he does.
Look at Jaden Goosen there, up the inside from, I think, 4th position, up into 2nd now. But given Jordan Brooks got a great start. 2 car links in the first corner.
Fernandes in there as well. He's just behind that pack. Mohammed Wali getting a little bit of a bump and barge as they go down, and in fact drops right to second last place by the looks of things. I think the only person that he didn't get through on there might have been Josh LaRue. Patrizi back in the mix as well, looking to improve after that little flick over and to scare the living daylights out of his mom. But needless to say, he is now ready to rock and roll, and looks like he's pretty determined to get to the front end if he can.
Jaden Goosen there also doing very well up to move up to 2nd. His stablemate Josh DePaiva, they're both on the GMP team. But what I find strange is that a lot of these drivers are doing both classes. There's Mohammed Wali, Carl Bierkes and DePaiva both doing Micromax and Minimax.
Taking a lot of strain on the day, and remember they also had a regional the day before. So literally these guys are going to be, just blisters from fingertips to the palm of their hands. They really are going to battle, so it might be a concern and possibly something to look at in the future, and just concentrate on one of the categories that you think you're the strongest in, and look at that, particularly for the African Open Day.
It actually looks like DePaiva did both classes for the regional, but has dropped this one for the African Open to focus on the Micromax.
So here we go, up into the last 2 turns, and absolutely nothing in it. As you can see there, 3, 4 and 5 very evenly matched as they cross the line, starting to close down on 2nd. And I think Jaden Goosen will have to keep his eyes behind him, because any second now we're going to have a 4-way battle, potentially 5-way battle for 2nd place.
Michele Patrizi showing no nerves through turn 1 after his little unceremonious cartwheel.
Yeah, that was quite cartwheel. I like that, eh?
Cartwheel. Good, eh?
Yeah. Write that down. I'm going to. That was a cartwheel. No pun intended. In fact, yes, it was. Here we go. Through the 180s now. And Patrizi, as you said, no worries at all for him. He is now applying the pressure onto the back end of Morrell. And Matthew Morrell is feeling it big time. Trying to get ahead there of the 585, and Mikael Fernandes just keeping him at bay for now. But there's a move. Good. How's that? Late apex out of
double
there. Brilliant. And he's going to make it stick into 1. Can he make it stick? No, here comes... Michele Patrizi. What a maneuver there. Great recovery. Back to 3rd place.
5th to 3rd. Brilliant move from Michele there.
And now we get onto the braking markers for turn 2. Hello. Whoa. Oh, where was that coming from? That's not quite the way you want to be heading down into that turn 2. Mandla Malangeni, unfortunately, just running out of brakes into turn 2, and unfortunately it's cost LaRue big time.
Yeah, Josh doesn't seem too happy about that. He was just in the wrong place at the wrong time. I don't think he had anything to do with that incident. He just caught up onto the back end of it. But he was a strong contender for the front of this race.
And I think we're going to see some strong contending any second now. Keep an eye out on the maneuvering happening coming from Mohammed Wali as he starts to close in from the back end. Doesn't quite have the start he wanted, but he is certainly looking for a chance to close things down here. As the battle continues, they're starting to close that gap, and it's the concertina effect that's happening. So there it is, spot on, 9 out of 12, and the concertina has now brought them all back into the mix.
Matthew Morrell hasn't been in the front for a while, and it's good to see him show a turn of pace and get back onto the group. He had chosen Mini Rock at the beginning of the season, switched over to the Rotax classes now towards the end of the season, and seems to be doing quite well here.
These 4 carts fighting hard are definitely slowing each other down ever so slightly, so we'll have to just be wary of the man just behind them. Patrizi, late on the brakes, gets a little bit of assistance coming through there, but needless to say, It's a phenomenal battle here for second.
Liam De Beer from KZ. Ooh, goes in a little bit too hot and manages to collect Patrizi on the way out.
Oh,
hands flying.
It's you and it's me. No, it's me. It's you. I don't know who it is. It's not quite what we wanted. So Patrizi gets out of his cart, helps his arch rival maneuver his cart off his cart to restart the race. And will they get going again? Yes, they will. Oh, don't wait for me. I just helped you get out of it. Don't worry about it. Oh,
I can't believe this kid.
More gesticulations there from Patrizi. I can't believe he's not going to help me out here. I've just helped him get going again. Oh, well. It's a tough day there for Michele, but he can come back. Remember, this is only a pre-final. This is not the one that counts.
He's such a character, that Michele Patrizi. What a character.
They've got a great family there, though. Involved in the karting for a long, long time, and super to see them not giving up at all. There's definitely, do not give up no matter what. Even if you've got to help your friend move his cart off your own one. Anyway, this man has not put a wheel wrong here, and I think Jordan Brooks is going to be a hard man to beat. He set the fastest lap in every single session. He, of course, was on pole position. So with the kind of pace he's found out of this Burrell Art machine, this could potentially be the man taking the victory on the next checkered flag, which is the more important one. He takes the win in pre-final 2, though, ahead of Jaden Gerson, and it's Mohammed Wali who eventually came through for 3rd place after that little incident between Patrizi. And Matthew Morrell eventually in 4th place, Mikael Fernandez in 5th, Carl Bierkes beats up Manda Mungeni, and then it's Josh LaRue, Liam De Beer, and Patrizi back in 10th place. But keep an eye on him, as I said, coming through now for the grand final. A Burrell front row once again. Gerson and Wally in the 2nd row, and this is the one that counts, Carl. This is the one that they're all going to be fighting hard for, even though they've been fighting literally from the word go. Keep an eye out on Michele Patrizi, though, coming from the back end of the field. He's going to be fired up after 2 pre-finals that haven't really gone his way.
Oh,
and
Josh
in fact, not the start we want. That's Mohammed Wali. Mohammed Wali is on the sideline and could potentially be out of this. That is a potential championship contender, and unfortunately out. So at the front end, looks like Gerson leads out, but not for long, as Brooks dives on his inside. And then right behind them, Josh LaRue and Matthew Morrell. And looks like Michele Patrizi, from 11th place up into 5th place by the looks of things.
Josh LaRue got such a good dive on the inside there into turn 1. I think he just gave Mohammed a bit of a startle. He had to turn out of it and end up taking 4 carts with him. But as we head down into turn 1 now, it's Josh LaRue on Jaden Gerson, and that's brought Liam De Beer with him.
Yeah, I was about to say, apologies there. I thought it was the white helmet of Morrell. It's actually the white helmet of De Beer as they come down into turn number 2. So all of a sudden, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 carts fighting for second. But Jordan Brooks doing everything right again. And look at the gap he's pulled already.
Jaden already taken a dive back on Josh LaRue into turn 2, so he's not allowing Josh to get away from him and get onto the back of Jordan Brooks. But we lost Matthew Morrell in that first corner incident, so unfortunately another top contender missing out of this group. But Jordan Brooks, I must say, the father and son team. Father was on the dyno till 1 o'clock this morning, making sure everything was 100% right in that cart, and it seems to be paying off.
Yeah, Mohammed Wali definitely out, and it looks, as you said, Matthew Morrell in that first lap incident having to work from the back of the field now. But his teammate is disappearing at the front of the field. The battle's for second place here. And unfortunately, guys, today that doesn't count. Second place is not where you need to be. It's number 1 or nothing. And Jordan Brooks is certainly looking to make that 5:37, the number 1 cart here today in the Minimax.
Josh LaRue looking very strong in comparison to Gerson. So Liam De Beer looking to get onto the back of Josh LaRue and follow him past Jaden like he did on Michael as well early on.
I think Michele is just hanging in there. He definitely wants a chance to potentially get a podium. If not, a podium would be great because it'll definitely rectify anything that's gone wrong in pre-final 1 and 2. A big cartwheel and a little bit of a mix-up with one of his good friends and arch rivals on track in Heat 2. But now sitting there in 5th place, waiting for something to go wrong.
Bit of a topsy-turvy weekend from Michele.
Yeah, big time. As they come through. Look on the back end of him as well. Keep an eye out on Mandla Mlangeni. Much better start from him and a lot closer to that leading pack. I say the leading pack because it is for second. I don't know. He's just put in a hot lap. Look at that, buddy. 47.4 from Jordan Brooks. That might be enough just to maintain the gap that he needs to take this victory.
Not only is he maintaining it, I think he's just growing that gap. He seems to be getting further and further away from these 3 every single lap. But Mandla behind them, they're putting a lot of work in with his driver coach. See, he opened the flap.
Good man. So he's listening to you.
Okay.
Have you got onboard communication with him? I think
Yes.
you might have that.
Yeah.
Looking at the way he's
Quietly
going, though,
texting
the
it.
one thing I've got a concern about is where they put that GoPro. Yes, it's a fantastic place to have it, but it is affecting his ability to get to the radiator a little bit easier than if the GoPro wasn't there.
Yeah, he actually had to reach around it, but I think Josh put that on himself, so
He knows it's
to
there.
blame.
Yeah, he knows it's there, so that's all right.
But Munda been putting a lot of work in with his drive trainer Elijah Gumbi at Squadra Corsa, and they really do have an interesting way of doing it, and it seems to be paying off for him.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. You can see it. All the Squadra Corsa drivers getting better and better, taking the lead from Conde and definitely showing that they've got the ability. There's no doubt about it. Speaking of abilities, looks like Michele Patrizzi starting to slowly but surely close in on those 3 carts ahead of him.
Liam
As I
Pierre
say
now
that-
through on Jaden.
Yeah, just losing out ever so slightly. Jaden getting a little bit of maneuver happening there. De Beer makes a move and makes it stick. There you go. LaRue goes with him. And I think that might have just rattled Goosen there ever so slightly.
Definitely a driver younger of age compared to these two. He's just come out of the mini rock class as well. Looks like he's doing both this season, but whoa, big run to the back of Liam de Beer and contact again.
Ah,
There go the hands.
there's the hands and feet.
Michele
and
around
toes
the outside over the top.
and Michele into 3rd place with that maneuver too. So he's just capitalizing on the two of them having a little argument, a little road rage out there. And it definitely didn't pay off for them. It has paid off for Patrizzi as he's going to look for 2nd. No, not late enough. But he's definitely in with a shot now. 2nd place is up for grabs. That will be a massive turnaround for him.
Down the inside now into turn 2, up into 3rd place after landing on his head in heat 1. Bravery is something that obviously runs deep in the Patrizzi family.
Either bravery or no brains.
I wasn't going to go there.
Right, lap 11 of 12. We're in the closing stages. They're not going to catch Brooks. He has disappeared at the front end. You can see him already heading into the final 2 corners as this pack heads into that section right now. LaRue hanging on for 2nd, but Patrizzi, I think, is probably the most determined driver. He definitely wants to be the 2nd best, if not the best on the day. And here we go. Onto the brakes. Into 1 on the last lap. Is that the perfect time to do it? Might not be. I would have
think
had
a
to
little
wait
early.
for turn 2. Let's see if we can keep it all together now.
Josh LaRue there, the MBR mounted Praga down the inside now into turn 2, or is he blocking Liam? No, he was just blocking Liam there. But has he hurt his exit and given Michele the gap he needs to get away from him?
I think he might have. They're not going to catch this man though. Look at that. 47 fours all the way through. It's almost a 6.5 second lead that Jordan Brooks has got over the rest of this pack. He's done it to perfection. Has not been bettered in any form of racing here today. And that's why he's going to secure the Minimax seat to Brazil. A very happy man as he crosses the line. It looks like it could be Michele Patrizzi who's going to hang on for 2nd place as they cross the line there to take the 2nd part of this grand final. 3rd place eventually going to Josh LaRue. Liam de Beer comes through for 4th place. Mandla Mlangeni doing a super job for a top 5. It's Jaden Goosen who eventually finishes in 6th place. Matthew Morale recovered to 7th. Mikhail Fernandes in 8th place. Carl Bierkes in 9th. And unfortunately with Muhammad Wali, as we saw, with a DNF in this final heat of the Minimax at the Africa Open.
This morning, pole position, pre-final 1, pre-final 2, and then the big prize at the end of the day. And every time you were just going away.
Yeah, qualifying was great. After qualifying, I was a bit nervous for the pre-final and pre-final 2 and final. Pre-final after the first race, it gave me confidence for the 2nd race, and then after the 2nd race, it gave me more confidence for the 3rd race. And when I won the 3rd race, I was very, very happy.